Hello, everyone. This is Annette Stanton. I want to talk today about being patient and being patient with yourself, especially as a high achiever. Who are my high achievers in the room? Yes, I'm one of them. I work with a lot of high achievers, and even if you don't think you're a high achiever, if you're the sort of person that actually puts a lot of pressure on yourself and thinks that you're the one that has to put your hand up for a lot of different things, to be involved, and that to get something done, then it has to be done by you. Putting so much pressure on yourself, then that's part of being a high achiever as well. I want to talk today about being a higher achiever. Now, there's a little, just okay. Don't get concerned. It's okay. Doesn't mean you got to push yourself. Doesn't mean you got to drive yourself. So what this means, and this is something I've learnt myself personally. So just a little bit of a background. I come from a sporting background, very much the person who took on the role that I had to really perform to make sure that every event that I participated in, every game that I was the leader, the driver, then it was going to be me that made it happen. That sort of personality. I won a lot of games, got a lot of medals and trophies and so forth along the way. And what I noticed also is then I started to take that into my career path and my relationships. So I had very high expectations on relationships, and that put a lot of pressure on not only, obviously it was coming through me that I didn't even realize, it was just my natural way of being, that also put a lot of pressure on other people around me. So the higher achiever is about taking you to a totally different space of presence as a leader. And what that means is it's fully being aware of who you are being and who you are becoming. So, as an example, I transitioned from, I was in the corporate world at the same time as high level sport, national and world champions and things like that. And as I retired from sport and then went further into starting my own business, I noticed a transitional phase of that in different phases of my life. And, running from having health challenges to going through a divorce, through to money challenges and downturn in the business, the GFC, many different types of personal challenges as well in relationships. And but what I found was these particular transitions, and it's the same with now as we're going through COVID-19, the different transitions in my life got me to reflect on who I truly am, what are my core values, and who am I becoming. So there was an evolution of the higher achiever as I became more and more aware through my own personal development, professional development, and yes, spiritual development. Then I was able to define success from inside out and what that feels like, what that looks like, instead of being the chaser of the vision. I've got to make sure that I achieve this, and become that vision, live that goal, make it happen personality, accumulated a lot of success, results, tangibles along the way. And throughout every transition and reflection of those transitions, I've now come to a space in my life personally that I now call the higher achiever, which is based on having a higher vision. There is no glass ceiling. It is infinite, okay? And it is all about, who you are being, who you are becoming, and the presence of you wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and the evolution of yourself throughout your career, your business model, whatever that is for you. And it's so, so important to become aware of what that is. Otherwise, you'll get trapped in old business, corporate, personal models that might not work for you any longer. And this is where the frustration, this is where the uncertainty can come in. This is where the friction up against when you're pushing up and you're driving against the old model, trying to make that work. So I've tried that for years, and then I had to literally surrender into this new way of being, and then that's when the patience came in. Okay, so it's being patient. So one of the things that I know when I first hired my coach over 20 years ago, amazing master coach, and she talked about the progress, not perfection. And then I added with patience. So I had this little motto on in my office every day to look at that. So the progress, not perfection, right? So I had to learn that my 60% was other people's 150%. Does that make sense? So in the way that I do things, I have a very high standard, very high expectations on myself. Yet, in the world out there where other people, where we might perceive them as, well, they're not even performing. Why aren't they, pushing and driving this and making this happen? Whereby we would naturally go into that style. Now I had to practice more of a being state of mind and body connection versus doing, push, drive, make it happen. Now, this is not about not doing. This is about tuning in and listening in to what the inspired steps, the inner vision, the inner voice, the connection of the intuition, the gut feel. And in the sporting arena, it was called being in the zone, right? So this is something that I'm very passionate about and talk to and teach a lot of my clients about. How do you live and work in the zone, right? So it takes patience to do that. And a lot of it is that, it's the old drills of, the wind sprints in the sporting days. It was you just keep doing the basics. You just keep doing the basics. You just keep doing the basics. As a high achiever, a lot of the times, and I remember this myself, is the basics was too boring for me. Who can relate to that? Yeah. So it's like, we've got to move on. We've got to go for the big picture. Now it's not about not going for the big picture. It's about feeling and having a trusting and a knowing that the big picture is going to be drawn towards you because you will have these strong foundations, okay, that you set up because you're being patient in doing the wind sprints, doing the basics, living the basics every day in your personal life, your business life. Yeah. Whatever the case might be in your career path, then it's doing those basics. And so many clients have said to me, and I remember when the GFC hit, and even now it's happening again, clients are saying to me, I just want to get back to basics. But you know what they realise? Is that they never had the basics set up in the first place for solidarity to be able to stand on when things like this occur. Okay, and in the world out there, we call that resilience. Now, resilience has so many different facets to it, and I'll be talking more about that later. But I can tell you that resilience is created naturally when you have the foundations of the basics. And the basics are the everyday way of life and business that is correlated with your vision, your values, and your goals, and you're in action, doing the everyday ordinary steps. And this is what I talk about in the last chapter of my book, The Power of Vision. When I got it, I actually had a physical shift in my body when I actually got the saying, that famous saying, it's in the ordinary that creates an extraordinary life. And when I realised, oh my goodness, this is about the basic foundations. When you do the ordinary, when you take the ordinary steps every day, in your health, in your relationship communication, in your working place, with your children, whatever your life is made up of, it's the everyday ordinary steps that creates an extraordinary life. And that is what success is from inside out. When you define what that is, instead of comparing yourself and chasing after the next, whatever the accolade or 6+ figures, whatever that might be out there for you, instead of chasing after it, allow it to come towards you by creating those solid foundations with patience. So I want to leave you today with those two areas of Progress, not perfection, with patience. Okay, remind yourself of that. And just know that every little step that you take is an actualization of your bigger picture. When you take the ordinary steps every day and you build momentum from those ordinary steps, that is what creates an extraordinary life, career, business that you love. If you have any questions or queries about that, then please feel free to reach out, give me a call, ask any questions, and practice progress, not perfection, with patience. It'll just might change your life. Just saying, I know it has me. Yeah. So have a fabulous day. This is Annette Stanton. Look forward to connecting with you soon. Bye for now.